Yeah, everybody, two ordinary cops. We're back again. It is getting towards the end of May. We're getting close to the middle of the year. Schultzy, how are you, mate?
Yeah, mate, I am very good, and it's good to see we've got a guest on tonight. We will go on a bit of other stuff afterwards because we do have some exciting news that we're going to share with everybody. But, mate, we don't want to take away from the guest we got on the show tonight, and that's Jack Woods. I just about said his name wrong again.
Oh, poor old Jack. So there's a backstory here, Jack. Before we get on, we're going to have to throw our cards on the table. So Jack was part of the team at Bellator down in Sydney when we were in down for the National Suicide Prevention's Conference a couple of weeks ago. And I think we called him everything but his actual name. I think at one point I threw in a Gavin. I think there was a Troy. I can't remember. There was a few others, but I mean, like we were just saying off before we started recording, Jack's not exactly a hard name to remember.
No.
But mate, we have to apologise. It's just bloody terrible. So anyway, that's the lead in. But anyway, Jack Woods, is here with us. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. How are you boys?
Yeah.
Good, real good. Yeah, we're getting there. Now we've got your name down, Pat. So that's at least a start. So that's always a good thing. So, Jack, we met briefly down in Sydney for a couple of hours there on day two of the conference that we were there anyway. And obviously, you're involved in Bellator to do with using physical therapy as well, and we'll let you explain that. But we had a great time down there, and it was a huge eye opener as to what's being done in that sort of space, but also the lack around first responders dealing with suicide prevention and just mental health in general and PTSD related sort of topics. So, mate, do you want to give us your rundown what your background is, where you came from, how you got involved in Bellator, and what your view is for the future?
Um, yeah, so I'm an exercise physiologist. So I've been working in the mental health space for about 10 years now. I kind of came into this space doing a bit of a pilot project about 10 years ago, and 10 years exercise in mental health, it wasn't really recognised. It was a bit of uh, an old wives' tale that you should use exercise. It's going to make you feel better, but there's no like a lot of solid evidence, and it wasn't really being used in clinical practice. It's been prescribed for people with mental health. So we ran a pilot project back 10 years ago. We ran it with one of the insurance companies, QBE, for New South Wales ambulance. So we've done that for about 3 months, and we got all the results from it, so all the health results and all the claim results and everything as well. And we actually got some really good data to come from it, some really good results to come out of it. A lot of people in the insurance company were pretty hesitant about it and didn't think we were going to get any results, but we knew from what we understood and what the evidence said at that time that exercise can help people with mental health. And that's kind of where it run from. And I hadn't done a lot of work in mental health before that. Like I knew that myself, being with a sport background, I knew that it was good for my health and good for my mental health and made me feel better. And being able to practically apply that back with people with PTSD, it's really rewarding. So once we got a bit of a roll on with these insurance companies and we could do more of it, it's really sort of lit a fire for me. So I've been dealing with people with helping people with PTSD for going on 10 years now, both through New South Wales ambulance into New South Wales police as well, the fireys, working with all sort of first responders at the moment. That's probably a little bit of background about myself. It's a bit of a niche market, I think, at the moment, exercise and mental health. But predominantly that's a lot of my caseload at the moment. It's just PTSD and mental health. So a lot of people really think, walking into this sort of industry, they think that exercise for mental health, it's a really easy sort of thing to work in, and it's just just give them any sort of exercise and that's going to help, but it's not really true. And as you guys know, being through the service, that different people need different sorts of exercise depending on on their background and what they love doing and what's going to help them and how their symptoms present and all that sort of stuff and how well they're sleeping and so forth. So being able to understand the person properly and building that rapport with the person is really crucial to making sure you can give them the right exercise at the right time and at the right intensity to help motivate them. So yeah, I mean that's a little sort of brief intro into exercise and helping people with PTSD, and that's how I sort of apply it. And yeah, how I got into Bellator. So I got invited. Guy that runs the Bellator, Nick. He invited me to come on board with Bellator and just be able to provide some guidance to him and some of the members in there just around how I use exercise in a clinical sense with people with PTSD and how I work with New South Wales Police and other first responders as well. I think Nick's obviously he's got a really good group of guys and around him, and the the organisation itself is really benefiting a lot of people and it's saving a lot of lives. So just being able to come on board and help Nick with the work that he's doing, it's really humbling, and he's doing really good things there at Bellator.
Yeah, so mate, one thing I'm interested in is, for one, I'm a person who did a hell of a lot of exercise when I was younger, and I'm a person who probably doesn't do anywhere near enough exercise now. So, what can you explain that? Actually, break down what physical exercise does for your mental health.
Like how it improves your mental health, you mean?
Yeah, how? What's the link? What do you find the link there is?
Um, yeah, so I suppose if I could just give it in like a general terms, I suppose when you do some sort of exercise, you have a neurochemical response in your body, right? Your body releases endorphins and serotonin and that sort of stuff, and that's the happy hormone, so to speak, and that'll help improve your mood and everything. But exercise it's more complicated than that, and it'll actually not only do that and lift your mood, but it has exercise provides like an anti-inflammatory effect on your body. Now, people with major depressive disorder, they're quite they've got quite inflamed brain basically, and providing exercise for a person with these sort of conditions will help decrease the inflammatory process. But it helps your body release. There's another chemical in your body helps relieve. It's called this brain neurotropic factor, BD, brain neurotropic derived factor, and that's get released in your body. And when that happens, it helps your body repair cells, right? And so, people with major depressive disorder, their neurons within their brain aren't just working properly. And this is part of their symptom presentation is that their wiring within the brain is just not there. So when you do exercise, it releases this BDNF chemical within your brain, which helps reorganize and refire your brain back up, basically. So that has an effect, plus all the neurochemical responses in your body has an effect as well. But also, if you exercise and you lose weight, that improves your motivation and makes you feel better, right? If you feel better, then that just has a flow-on effect and builds other habits within your body as well. So there's a couple of different ways that exercise helps, both like on that molecular level in your brain, but also just on that building routine, hitting those goals, that helps lift your mood as well. But when people fall out of work, one of the hardest things for people to get back into, and why sometimes they go into this depressive state, is because they fall out of a routine, right? And if you're out of routine, that harder to get back into routine, but you feel low. So building a routine, building an exercise routine, and doing that all the time helps to build off other things as well, and helps you achieve other goals as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mate. I've obviously I was quite fit at a number of times, especially through my career. Mainly when I was out bush because we couldn't drink alcohol, so that was kind of steered me towards exercise. Yeah, I mean, I was very fit back then, but I understand the routine because it just came a day to day life for me. You know, you'd finish work, you go to the gym. You know, you go to bed early, you'd sleep well, you get up and probably go for a run, and then you come back and do more work. And even if you got overtime and all that, it was really good. You still had that routine intact. So if you missed a day here and there, it didn't really matter so much. But one thing I do understand is getting in that repetitive scene. So like you said, when you finish work and all that, like one of the hardest things I found, even after leaving the police or leaving. I suppose it wasn't too bad when I even went back down to Brotherhood, where I could drink and all that sort of thing. I still had that routine going with the job, but I do understand it's how do you actually get people? Because I understand how hard it is. I've got to push myself mentally all the time to get into a routine. How do you go about getting people back into that routine and keeping it up enough so it becomes a routine? It becomes habitual, I suppose you could say. Is there any tricks of the trade, or because I imagine there's a lot of people that are listening, going, I want to get back into fitness, but what are some of the tricks you can do, or what do you do to get people involved in?
Yeah, it can be really hard, and I'll I tell my clients that I'm as it's hard to get into it. I'm find it as difficult to get into a routine as anyone else. I'm no different. Even though I exercise a lot, I still once I fall out of routine, I still find that quite difficult. No, I'm upfront with my clients like that, and it's once you're in routine, it's easy to stay in, but once you fall out, it's actually quite hard to get back into a routine. And so, especially with people with really poor mental health, they can't see past a few days or past a week, let alone seeing what's going to happen in 2 or 3 months, right? So we set really small goals, and those goals are really like just routine based sort of goals. So it might be, if they're really out of that exercise routine, I might get them just to um, put the exercise clothes like right near their bedroom door and put their shoes on, or put their shoes right near the front door, right? So I'm breaking down those things. And so once they put their shoes on, then they're out the door. That's part of that routine to get them into. Okay. So that helps them get into that exercise routine if I can break down those steps to actually get them out of the door. But also putting things in place where I might get them to put their calendar down on the fridge. And that's a really easy sort of thing to do. You walk up, I've got to do these routine sort of things, and it's completing these small tasks, and that helps build on that routine, right? It's if you try and do big tasks, it can seem overwhelming, and so people with poor mental health, they can't look at those big tasks and try and achieve them. It's too much, it's too overwhelming. So we need to break down those tasks. If it's a big task, we need to break it down into smaller bits. So mentally, you can come on and achieve that as well. But I find putting stuff in the fridge helps keep your second half. They keep you accountable to a certain extent, hopefully, as well.
One thing there's a couple of sayings in there that how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. It's a bit of a throwaway line. We use it a lot in emergency services, especially with a really big problem. The other thing we do is we use SMART objectives, so specific, measurable, achievable. I can't remember the R, but anyway, and with a timeline. So relevant, and within a timeline. So the thing is that achievable is the big one there, because if you were to say to me tomorrow morning we're going to go out and run 20 kilometres, that's just completely unachievable. So to me, but if you give me something that, and then we do it and we go, right, we're finished now, and you go, oh, that was no worries. And so yeah, we're going to do that again, and we're going to build on that. We're going to build on that and build on it. Do you agree that especially someone in a mental health crisis would benefit from, you just start small and build from there?
Yeah, so it's we work off a sometimes like I don't work off smart goals so much because it's when I'm using smart goals with some of the other clients, I build like a 2 or 3 month sort of it's a 3 month sort of achievement goal. I want to I want to run 10Ks in the Fernley track, which is around Newcastle, and I want to do that in 3 months' time. But with, like the elephant analogy you just used, it's a step goal approach. So I want to get to here in 4 weeks, but next week to do that, I'm going to do it in this bit. And then the week after, I'm going to do this to achieve that. And then the week after that, it's going to be build on those other ones. So it's really small incremental goals to achieve that, what happens in 4 weeks, or you can break it into 6 or 8 or whatever. But when you're in a mental health crisis, you need you need help. You need help to do that sort of stuff. People people with no understanding of mental health, they'll just say, "Oh, he just needs to go for a walk." It's not that simple. You need assistance, you need supervision, you need accountability for someone to turn up. It's the same with goal planning and like these stepped approach and the biting an elephant in so many pieces, right? It's you need help to plan that out, and what am I going to do to achieve that, and how is that going to work? Yeah, so it's got to fit into my lifestyle. It's got to fit into your partners, your kids, and all that sort of stuff. You need help to help. How is that? How am I going to piece that together?
Yeah, mate, it's interesting because I don't know. I think deep down we all know exercise is good, and I think we all get lazy, and you get to the other end, and especially now, I find myself now using the age thing. Oh, I must just be getting old. I'm not that old, It's and I don't have a mental health crisis, so I can understand how if you've got other overwhelming issues in your life, it's going to be hard work to actually break through that and put in place something to look after yourself. And exercise would probably be the last thing on a lot of people's minds. So, yeah, that's what I find interesting about it.
Yeah, and like the help thing doesn't need to be done by a professional like me. You can just reach out and I can say, I need some. What exercise have you been doing lately? I need some motivation. Throw me your program. Yeah. How you been working with it? And then you throw it over and like, oh, that's a little kickstart that I need. It's little simple stuff like that. It doesn't need to be structured by a person like myself.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting because all those times when I've been probably super fit is the fact that I've got somebody to bounce off, somebody who if I don't show up, then I'm going to let them down, sort of thing, and it's likewise for them to me. So like, how important would it be to get somebody like a buddy to do this sort of stuff with? Like, have you used that, or do you try and encourage that?
Yeah, 100%. And the buddy can be someone at home if they've got a supportive partner. But the buddy can be just some of the old colleagues or whatever as well. But this is the really good thing about Bellator and how integrated the system is online, and how the guys will just quite commonly the guys will come up and say, "I'm really pumped. This is what I did in my exercise program yesterday, and I'm feeling really good." And I'll put up this sort of program, or whatever, and what they've just done for exercise and how it's made them feel good. So accountability is really crucial, and yeah, having some sort of buddy sort of system there is whether that's your partner or your circle of friends, or you come into that Bellator forum and you put you know um, you help find someone's going to keep you accountable in there as well.
So, what's the future hold, mate? What's the plan with Bellator going forward?
I think we just trying to get more reach, mate, throughout nationwide. I think is the first and foremost. We just need to get some more people, help more people out. I think this is it's a really crucial sort of service, and fills a big gap in the landscape in the New South Wales Police and first responders landscape that I see. It fills that gap. So the more people we can reach, and I know it's not just New South Wales, but it's working with the company I used to work at. They used to do some stuff over in WA, and yeah, I know the same things that's happened in WA that's happened in New South Wales, so people just falling through the cracks. So we just need to get out there and get more reach and get the Bellator name out there, I think. and just getting everything involved and get the backbones of the organisation up and going, so it can really put everything in place that can really try and help people out, and yeah, just helps them save some lives, mate. That's the thing about the organisation more than anything.
Absolutely. Well, we're on board, mate. We're definitely on board with Bellator, and we'll be talking for the foreseeable about what you guys are up to, because you're filling a niche that's not there. Like we said last week, or the week before, sorry, with Krista and with Nick White as well, was that we're a very tough nut to crack. Naturally skeptical people, hardened, seen a lot of bad things, and we'll never play the victim. So it's a hell of a thing. It's a hell of a niche in that area to be. You've got people who desperately need the help but aren't necessarily willing to put the hand up. So I take my hat off to you, mate. It's it's a hell of a thing you're doing there, and we're happy to be involved. So really happy with that. Probably need to do a bit more exercise myself, Schultzy? What do you reckon?
Yeah. Mate, like Jack, if you're going to help Damo out, I'd just recommend no swimming, because
I picked up a boulder once and it swam better than I did. So yeah, no, nothing. Nothing.
End up like the Prime Minister, mate, down in Cronulla, eh? I've been speaking to Nick and trying to get more exercise-based stuff involved in Bellator as well, mate. So if you've got any thoughts around that, happy to get a swimming team or something together.
Sinking team. Yeah, bloody. You want to put a scuba bloody mask on me? I'm a sinking team, not a swimming team, but that's all right. Yeah. I can lift heavy stuff and sit on people, but I can't swim. I mean, I can swim. I can float up to a bloody swim up bar in Bali like the best of them. Don't worry about that.
I mean, again, this is a good thing about Bellator, right? If we can get enough numbers there, we can get crew that are locally organised together, that have, you don't have to be in the same station or the same division or work in the same area, but if you can get enough people that live in the same area, get them together, do an exercise session, whatever it needs to be, go have coffee after. I mean, that's, from my position from the exercise point of view, that's what I'd probably like to see moving forward. But yeah, we need more numbers to do that, to get that involved. We're getting there, for sure.
Yeah. Well, mate, we're going to definitely push it as much as possible. And look, part of the reason being, Damo and I has spoken a lot about even the police club, and that, like, yes, it did involve drinking and all that sort of thing, but there was also some other things that came out of that, and that was exercise, going to the gym with your mates. It's about camaraderie and like, what I said earlier, showing up for each other. And I think Bellator is very important for that, because it's also hearing that everybody else is going through, tough times as well. And if you combine together and improve each other, then that's what you have to do. And like Damo said, first responders are a tough nut to crack. Because they don't so much want to accept help. They've always been there to give help to everybody else, or take control of stuff. So it's important to try and break through that and build that camaraderie, I think, to actually lead a better life and a bit more fitness. So I think I think Bellator is outstanding, and what Nick's done, and Krista and you, it's just fantastic.
Yep,
and you
absolutely.
both you're all coming from different points, because it's not this is not a silver bullet. There's no easy way to fix all this sort of stuff. It's a combined effort. So I think that's really important.
Yeah. So, mate, Jack, thanks very much, mate, for coming on. We'll probably spruik on for a little minute, but hang around. We've just got a couple of announcements to make. I can't even talk anymore for next week.
I was going to say, if you can't talk, how you got to say my name?
So, Jack, it's magnificent, mate, and we'll remember your name now. I promise. We're not going to stuff that up again. So, yeah. That was terrible. It was just rubbish. Yeah, it's terrible. It's me, not you. We're just disgraceful bloody humans. It's the way it is. But yeah.
Well,
no, Jack, excellent, mate. We're really happy to talk. We're really happy to be involved with Bellator, and there's a few. The relationship's there now, and we'll definitely move forward in the future. So that's great. But Yeah, speaking of looking after police, we've got a bit of an announcement, mate. What's happening next week?
Yeah, mate. So next week we're actually doing a talk. We've been invited to talk at the Queensland Police Union Conference. So we'll be doing that on Tuesday, I believe.
Yep.
So a really big thank you to them for reaching out to us and getting us on board, mate. But you want to go in a bit more detail of what we're going to be discussing?
Oh, you know what? I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag just yet. But yeah, we will be on stage speaking to the Queensland Police Union Conference, where the issue we're talking about is going to be pretty important. Working in with Shane Pryor, the president of the Queensland Police Union, but a huge thanks to Jake Lacey, who we've had on the program, for organising it. Basically, he was the one who reached out and said, "Hey, listen, why don't we get these guys involved?" So. The thing is, though, mate, tough crowd, bloody tough crowd, room full of hardened coppers. You know, they're going to be pretty cynical looking at us going, what do you blokes bring that we don't? And it's like, nothing, boys, we're the same, or girls, boys and girls, we're the same as you. There is nothing special here. So, look, I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a challenge, tough crowd, but we'll see how we go. And it's going to be a great week. But I'm currently in Tasmania. I'm in the north coast of Tassie, so I'm flying home tomorrow night. One day at home, little fella's playing soccer down the north coast, and then we're going to head up Sunday. So we're going to catch up with a few people Sunday in Brisbane. Monday the conference, I think Monday's the executive meeting, and then Tuesday the conference proper commences. So we'll be involved in the conference on Tuesday. But yeah, mate, I'm really looking forward to that. It's we were both delegates with the NTPA, so. It's something we've always looked out for the members, and to me, it's a good thing to get involved with. So I'm happy to be up there. It should be a really good week, and that'll be next week's episode. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Look, that's one of the things too. We've always been, and look, mate. Yeah, the tough crowd. They are a tough crowd, but that's why we've always called ourselves ordinary.
Yeah.
We're just like every Joe or Jody, I suppose, on the street. And I think, we've both been delegates because we look after the crew on the ground. We've always been about the troops and about the force in general. So, it's about backing them up and supporting them in whatever they need.
Yeah.
And, mate, so I think tomorrow I'm going to a mental health lunch, which I got invited along to as well. So, and look, Jack, mate, there won't be any exercise, but I think there might be a few beers consumed. So, it's a downward spiral, so to speak.
You might have to run to your train, mate. That'll be about it.
We might have to get you on along as a guest speaker, Jack. But that's some of the exciting stuff we're doing, and Jack, mate, it's been awesome to have you on board. I think it's really important of what you're doing. And trying to achieve. And look, anybody listening to this, if you need to get in touch with Bellator or Jack, Krista or Nick, just let us know. Because we've also we're helping a number of people at the moment get in contact with other people, whether they're doing research and all that sort of stuff. So it's we have the contacts, and a lot of it is through what we're doing now, but also contacts from in the police. So if you do want to get in touch with somebody, or you think somebody that can help you out, that's what we're here for. So reach out to us, and we'll definitely get back to you.
No, mate. Thanks for having me on. It's it's been a pleasure to sit and chat to you, two ordinary blokes.
And we'll be back next week. A bit of a special one next week. So 200 cops again. I'm coming you from Bridport, Tasmania, freezing my absolute arse off. But that's what happens on the big jobs. So it's all good.